Welcome to This Week in Missouri Politics. Busy week in Jefferson City. We're here to talk about a guy who's hit the ground running in the State Treasurer's office. State Treasurer Vivek Malek, welcome to This Week in Missouri Politics.
Thank you very much, Scott.
So I heard on the radio this week that MoBucks is already spoken for the year. Tell folks what MoBucks is.
So MoBucks is a program that was started by Treasurer Wendell Bailey back in 1984, which you have worked with, a great guy. I had the opportunity to meet him 2 or 3 times. He also came to my inauguration. But what a wonderful program it is. I mean, this was one of the programs that caught my attention as I got into office, that this is the program we need when the inflation is high, the interest rates are high, and we need to make sure that our small businesses in the state, which are the economic engines for the state, get that help. The farmers who are in need, they get that help. And we have rolled out a farm relief loan program through this back in August of 2023 through the MoBucks program. And this year we had some money come back to us as the loans matured, and we had about $120 million. So we decided to open the MoBucks again on January 2nd. And to everybody's surprise, and it is a pleasant surprise, I would say so, but it was within 6 hours. I started getting text message after every hour. The first hour was we are at 34 million, and second hour we were at 60 million. I'm like, okay. So by 4 o'clock, all that money was spoken for. So we had to shut down the portal within 6 hours. So that is the popularity of the program. And I think over the years, the interest rates were down, so there was not too much of interest. But as I got into office, we had still over half of our aggregate limit of $800 million to disperse. And I went around the state talking to bankers, talking to talking at the regional conferences, and they need re-education about the program. And I did a lot of that during this whole 1 year of my
well, when you have a low interest rate, you if it's not on top of mind, right, it just kind of gets out of you're used to not using the program or using it. When you don't, that distance creates unfamiliarity.
Absolutely. And then in the fall, I did a over 45 county tour just promoting MoBucks. And I think between the interest rates and the promotion that we did from the Treasurer's office, we saw what the results were.
So does the legislature just need to raise the cap on MoBucks so you can keep using it?
We tried that last year too. It couldn't get through the Senate because we were short on time in the Senate. And then this year also, that was one of the first bills that was taken up in the House and will be the first bill taken up in the Senate. And we are asking the General Assembly to raise the limit from $800 million to $1.2 billion, which will give us additional...
Give you another half a day to loan money out, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Tell me, you've been very active in seeing Missouri retirement accounts divest in China. Why did you pick China?
Well, I mean, first of all, China has been a bad actor. And I think... when I got onto the Mosher's board, we were on our strategic planning for next 30 years of investment, and we were evaluating where our money needs to be invested. And last 15 years, we saw that the money that was in emerging markets with China and emerging markets without China, there's not a significant difference. Actually, the emerging markets without China were doing better. And post-COVID, China has been just going downhill. So as I started in my office with the first 3 Ps, protecting taxpayers' dollars, I felt it is my obligation and responsibility and fiduciary duty to make sure that the retirees' money is also safeguarded. And I think investing in China at this point, when it is a bad actor, it aligns with our adversaries like Russia. The economy is tanking, deflation is going on, they do not have the population to support the growth. I think all these factors, if you consider them, and how they have been treating our companies who go to China, it is just not a good investment. So why would we invest in something where you're not going to get any return back?
Well, it's interesting. When you first did this, I was like, oh, he's running for office politics. Then I interviewed Blaine Luetkemeyer this week. Blaine Luetkemeyer said that the American intelligence uncovered a document for what China would do if they took Taiwan. They thought our response would be sanctions. Their response would be to seize all of the assets, American money, in their funds, nationalize the American assets over there. That was their plan for how to respond to our response to Taiwan. And the first thing was seize all of the American money in their accounts, which would be Missourians' retirement gone.
Right. Absolutely. And we have urged other pension boards across the state to do the same thing. And I think that push needs to be nationwide.
But it was interesting. You know, when we're running for office and it's election year, everybody says is you start with an eye roll. But boy, when Blaine Luetkemeyer, who's a very serious man,
Absolutely.
said the first thing on their agenda that they could do easy, that they have set up in place, is to just grab all the money invested in China and take it.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, it was like, well, maybe it's a little more than just electioneering. Let me talk about something you've been running, though, the Most Scholars Program.
My focus on divesting from China has been based on numbers only. Apart from all these rhetorics that have been going on, that definitely makes a part of that decision. But if we are not getting the best rate of return on our dollar, why we would invest there if we are just taking losses on the dollar every day? So that was one of the main reasons I was focusing on that, and that was the argument I made to the board as well. First time we did not get through, but the second time we did get through.
What changed on them 2 votes?
Well, I think I was not happy, and I did very vocally kind of...
Bully pulpit's what I think happened a little bit.
That's right. That's right.
All right, let's talk about a program you've jumped into with both arms and grabbed onto. That's the Most Scholars Program. Right. Tell folks what that is to start with.
So Most Scholars is a program where you have these kids who are in K through 12 program in public schools. It offers them a choice for the parents to send their kids to a school based on what kind of education they want. If the school is not performing well, they can send them to a private school, to a charter school, to a parochial school or a home school, and it just helps these parents get the scholarship money to do that. And how the scholarship is funded is not through state appropriations. It is basically coming from donations, whether corporate donations or individual donations, and these donors may or may not choose to get a tax credit from the state. If they do choose to take a tax credit, the state offers up to 50% of their state tax liability to be donated to this program, and they get 100% dollar for dollar tax credit for that. So it is good for the kids because they get an option when they are not getting the help in the existing structure to get that help to succeed. It is good for the families because now they can fulfill their commitment to get the better education for their kids. It is good for Missourians because they get to donate to help a kid get a better education.
So right now, how many folks are using it?
Right now we have about 1,837 students enrolled in the program.
And where are you seeing? Do they go to local Catholic school? I mean, sometimes Protestant schools are a little less funded. I've seen before, folks, that money probably really helps, you know, one of your more Protestant religious schools. Where are folks taking this money and going to?
So the money has been going, right now there's geographic restrictions, but based on the geographic restrictions, what our schools are available, every EAO, we have 7 EAOs now, it used to be 6 EAOs, and all those 6
Tell
EAOs.
Tell folks what EAO is.
EAO is Educational Assistance Organization. These are 501c3 nonprofit organizations, which basically disperse these donation money as form of scholarships to the students.
And where are you seeing the students go? They're going from the public school. Where are they heading to?
They're going to all Catholic schools. They're going to religious schools and charter schools too. So all different places that they can find where the parents think that is good for their kid.
That's interesting. Yeah. Tell me about the campaign. You've been off and running, I guess. How long have you been officially in this? I guess, really, you said from day one you was going to run, so I guess it's technically been then. How's it going?
It's going great. I have enjoyed my travels across the state. I put about 45,000 miles so far on my vehicle, and that is in addition to flying that I have been doing. But I don't think without this opportunity I would have had the chance to traverse the state the way I did and appreciate the good bounty that we have in our state. I mean, it is I would say God's most precious gift that we have received in the state, whether it is the waters, whether it is the fauna, flora that we have in the state. I was just delighted, and meeting all those good folks across the state in the rural counties and the courthouses. And
what are folks talking about out in rural Missouri?
Well, I think definitely inflation is a big issue for everybody, and that has been a pain for everyone, and that is where we think MOBUCS will definitely help all these small business and farmers, and my goal is to make sure that the Missourians get the help that they need.
It is a real cross match. The other day, Casey came home with groceries, $300 worth of groceries for about a day and a half, and you just shake your head in astonishment.
Absolutely.
There's a truth about, I hear folks say, well, the economy's great. Well, I tell you, you go to Donovan, and when your grocery bill for 3 days is $100, the economy ain't great in Donovan.
No.
And I just, I always think it's so interesting. People actually get out in the state. Everybody gets to hear plenty of what St. Louis and Kansas City thinks. There is no shortage on St. Louis and Kansas City folks talking. But when rural Missouri folks talk, what else are they talking about besides inflation?
I think in rural Missouri, I think the concerns are that what we are doing in the state house here in the capital, that should reflect what the rural Missouri wants, the common sense policies, and that they want to see more and more of that.
So what's your favorite part of the state you've been to so far that maybe you wouldn't have got to otherwise?
I think I like when I took the Highway 65 from Branson down to Gainesville.
Oh, Gainesville's a pretty area.
Yes.
They're still proud, no stoplights in Ozark County.
Right.
I think maybe they get a dollar store. Everybody gets a dollar store these days, but they're real proud. There is no stoplights in Ozark County, Carl Esslinger country.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, when folks go in to vote, you got two opponents right now.
Three, actually.
Three opponents right now. When folks go into the voting booth, what should they think of when they think about voting for you?
Well, I would say they should vote for me because within 1 year, what I have done is historic. We have given more money out through our unclaimed property, and by the way, they should still look up for showmemoney.com. We gave out more than $9 million more than last year, and we have had broken all records of money that we have returned through unclaimed property. We have done more for farmers and for small businesses through our Mo Scholars Mo Bucks program. We have raised more money in the Mo Scholars program, 83% more than what was last year, 38% increase in the enrollment from last year. In the MOST program, we have crossed the 4 billion mark, which was we thought would be hard to get to in investments, and I'm still on target to reach a 400,000 accounts mark on the MOST. So I think we have done more in 1 year than anybody in the past has done in their tenure.
Well, State Treasurer Vivek Malek, as the campaign unfolds, hope you'll come back and tell us some Wendell Bailey stories here on This Week in Missouri Politics. We'll be right back with our opinion maker panel. The most quotable man in the Republican Party, Jim Murphy, joins us.
For more than a century, the St. Louis Carpenters Union has shaped our communities. Through trusted alliances, we deliver skilled professional craftspeople while our business partners provide the kind of quality jobs that keep our economy humming. It's a blueprint that has worked since 1882. Turning Missouri into a right-to-work state stalls progress, wipes out jobs, and kills momentum. Right to work is wrong for everyone. Let's keep Missouri moving forward. Visit carpdc.org to learn more.
Missourians know that big futures have small beginnings. That's why over 86% of Missouri voters believe early childhood education is essential to success later in life. While almost every voter agrees expanding access to childcare will attract jobs and help more parents succeed at work. And more than 7 in 10 Missouri voters say improving early childhood education will make our communities safer. Find out how you can help grow Missouri's bright future at mochampionofchildren.com.
Reach your audience with Outreach Studios. Studio 17 offers 1,000 square feet of customizable space that can accommodate roundtable discussions, podcasts, live stream content, and much more. For a different look, we offer View 17. This one-of-a-kind event center is fully wired for broadcast and is perfect for corporate or commercial content. With Outreach Studios, the opportunities are endless. Elevate your message, your brand, and your expectations with Outreach Studios.
Data captured by our state-of-the-art monitors helps us pinpoint the timing and location of severe weather more accurately and respond to trouble more quickly. Ameren, Missouri's investment in smart technologies like this is one way we're improving reliability and restoring power faster than ever. Responding to trouble before trouble hits. That's energy at work. Ameren, Missouri.
Welcome to This Week in Missouri Politics. Busy week with session getting started. We are here for our opinion maker panel. Representative Jamie Berger from the Boot Hill. Welcome back, sir.
Always glad to be on here, Scott. Always glad to be on here.
Sherri Gallick, Cass County, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, where's your district all go through?
It is Cass County and Bates County, 15 cities, 10 school districts.
Bates County, good folks. Representative Peter Meredith from South City. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And the most quotable man in the Missouri Republican Party, Jim Murphy. Thank you for making the time, sir.
Thanks once again for having me.
So you got a property tax problem in St. Louis County, right?
Right.
Tell me about it.
Well, the property tax, there was two things we found out in our committee this year that I think were meaningful, and that was that the assessors don't feel like they have enough time to actually do the proper job. You know, they have a very short window, and then after they do it, the period to appeal is also very short, and they have no time to interact with the citizens. One of the things we think we need to do is expand that, give them more time to do the assessment, and give them more time for the appeal.
Representative, you elect the assessor in St. Louis County.
Yeah.
He's awful proud of how much money he brings in.
Right.
I mean, that's what folks want, right? You want high taxes, you want to be Shanghai.
Well, I don't know that, you know, government has to function. We have to be able to fund it, and that's how our system works. Some of the things that we found that were real disturbing is that in the Hancock Amendment, it says that anything you bring before any tax increase has to go before the voters, and on reassessment years, like school districts have to roll back their levy to match that, so they can't capture if the rate goes up 18%. Well, apparently there's a hole in Hancock that says on reassessment years they don't have to roll back. So, for example, in my district, the assessments went up 18%, and they put a very small ballot measure for 30 cents. Well, they captured $8.98 because of this hole in Hancock. So we're looking to fix that this year.
Peter, Meredith, isn't it true, though, you get the government you voted for? I mean, every one of these property taxes have been put on by the voters.
I think that's a fair point. I mean, the fact is, voters voted for these taxes to be in place. That doesn't mean we enjoy being taxed. Nobody likes being taxed. But we have services we care about, whether it's firefighters, schools. Those things are paid for mostly by property taxes. And so unless we were to come up with a different way to fund those things, right now, people support those being in place.
I hear people saying, eliminate property taxes. Well, to me, that's almost too easy. If you want to eliminate your property tax bill, get your bill out, go run for the boards that administer those, and roll them back. Do the cuts.
Yeah, I mean, those are just politics. People that like to say attack taxes, all taxes are bad, it's easy politics, but the hard part is actually finding a solution of, well, then how do you pay for things?
But the one thing we have to make sure is that the assessment's fair.
Amen.
As long as they're fair, then...
I completely agree.
Jamie Berger, the levy in Scott County Central is what the folks in Scott County Central want. If they don't like the assessor, they vote him out, right?
Exactly. And I don't think we're seeing in the rural part of Missouri what they're seeing in the cities. We're not getting those large increases. You know, I'm glad we're engaging with the local elected officials, so because they're the ones that will face the biggest impact for services that they provide when we make these adjustments or have these conversations. So I'm pretty excited about it moving forward.
You know, interesting thing, Representative. If your assessment's too high in Butler County, somebody's going to be up Chris Rickman's office, and there's going to be some problems. If the assessment's too high in St. Louis County, I mean, Jake Zimmerman's like, well, yes, it's supposed to be high. That's what you vote for.
There's a reason that we have taxes. They do provide services, and in the rural area, I agree with Jamie. They didn't go up as much. Kansas City and St. Louis saw huge increases, and it is an issue. If there's a senior living in their home and they can't afford it anymore, that's an issue. So it does need to be looked at, but
it just strikes me that it's an easy fix to come to Jeff City and say eliminate property taxes.
Oh,
but in reality, and then they say, well, just have the state make it up. Well, those aren't real answers. I mean, the fact is, if you're going to have a state that's going to have a little bit of income tax, a little bit of sales tax, a little bit of property tax, that property tax is going to have to fund some direct service, and it funds some ambulance districts and some policing districts. I think folks, they want it, right?
well, one thing that I did express to some people in my district when they asked about the property taxes was, go back and look at your taxes. Divide it all out and see exactly what it pays for. Mine, 83% of it went to school. You know, there's fire and ambulance, and it's like, I said, well, I don't like taxes. Nobody likes taxes. It does serve a purpose. And if we took the property tax, the personal property taxes away, or put it in a different manner, I mean, I've lived in different states. There's no magic money.
Yeah.
So it's just higher in different areas because you need to provide services. And actually, our Constitution says that you need to provide schools. So.
No magic, why like
Yeah.
that? Peter, Meredith, let me ask you this. There's an issue that when I first started politics, there was no one for gun control. There was literally no group, nobody talked for gun control. that issue has changed over the last 20 years. There are active groups. I think Moms Demand Action is a very well organized group. And there are groups that are now, gun control is actually on the table for an issue to be talked about in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, I think it's more complicated than that. You know, you use the phrase gun control. That means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And right now, we've gone over the last 10 or 15 years in Missouri in the direction of just deregulating and deregulating guns. So when we talk about something like requiring background checks for a purchase, I mean, that's something people have always actually supported, but they didn't think that's what Democrats were wanting when we said gun control. Or we used to have a permit to carry, concealed in the state. Voters actually didn't even want that when they were asked the question. But in Missouri, the Republican legislature got rid of the requirement for permits to carry. So now when we say we want permits to carry, well, okay, that's gun control, I guess, but it's something that's been popular in our state all along that Republicans undid. We're just saying, let's go back to responsible gun laws. And right now, with Missouri having one of the highest rates of gun violence of any state in the country, I think a lot of folks are saying, enough's enough. Let's have some common sense gun laws, making it so that kids under 18 can't carry guns down the street and police do nothing about it.
Jim Murphy, you're at the tip of the spear here because you have a district that has Democrats in it, has independent voters. These folks are not, you do not have a bunch of rock-rib Republicans only. You have to go talk to folks to get elected. What do you think? This issue's changed, I think, over the last few years.
And what I've explained to my district is that it's not that I'm against youths carrying guns down the city. I mean, that's ridiculous. Me and him will agree on that every day, that's not
Not when it comes to a vote, though.
When it comes to a vote, I would vote for that. But the problem is that we have two different worlds in Missouri. Mm-hmm. We have the rural world and we have the urban world. Mm-hmm. And what's important to me is that children shouldn't be possessing guns. But I will tell you that in the rural districts, those kids, have them in their car, mm-hmm. have them in the back of their truck. And what they would say to me is, hey, teach your kids not to shoot each other, which is a very simple thing to say.
Too simple.
But the reality is that we have two different paradigms that we got to deal with, and we've got to find a way to do that. And there are ways to do it, and we shouldn't be bashing each other, on this issue. We should be working on a way to settle it. I think that we could allow for the city to have an ordinance that says you can't carry guns if you're under 16 or something like that. But I think it should go to the vote of the voters, not just a few politicians. And I think maybe we can do something like that if it went to the vote of the voters. It would never go to the voters in your district.
Berger, I mean, the truth is, it is changing in the suburbs of St. Louis. People are looking at guns differently. It ain't changing in Chaffee.
It's not changing in Chaffee. People do not want to be infringed upon their Second Amendment rights, period, stop. When you went to high school, when I went to high school years ago, you had a gun rack in the back of your window, your pickup, and you had either one or two guns in there. And some people don't have them exposed in the back of their windows now for theft reasons, but everybody still carries a gun, like Representative Murphy said, and everybody likes to hunt and be out there shooting and practicing and being very responsible with their guns.
Representative Gallick, is it possible that you could, I've watched you quickly adopt a reputation for compromise and bringing folks together. I just wonder, I think the city of St. Louis has a problem. It would be served probably overall by tighter gun laws, but boy, it's hard to explain that in Willow Springs. Is there a way anybody in your caucus can say, okay, we're going to let St. Louis do this for a few years and try something, but it doesn't mean you're losing your guns in Willow Springs. Can you explain that to folks?
That is the fear factor, is that they believe that you're going to take the guns away. And I know, as Jamie mentioned, when I went to high school, I grew up in the Kansas City area, in the suburbs. I didn't think anything of it. There were gun racks in the back of trucks that went to school. It never even dawned on me. But now it is a different story. In fact, I do have a bill. I have Blair's Law, which most people are familiar with. I'm working with Representative Mark Sharp. And I'm for responsible gun ownership. And I believe every gun owner that is responsible is for responsible gun ownership. Celebratory, just firing a gun in the air, does no good. One of the people in my district, the mother of Blair that was killed in 2011, I knocked on her door. And when she told me the story, I was in tears. And she has fought, every year for 12 years.
Difference. If Jim Murphy went on his back porch and shot his fireman in the air.
Yes.
And Jamie Murphy did. It ain't gonna hit nobody at Jamie's house.
Yes.
But now, different story. You live in very close quarters. I don't want you to get out here without talking about fentanyl. You have made that your issue. You've been killing them. Explain, folks, what you're doing and what can be done with fentanyl.
I knew about fentanyl, but I did not know very much about fentanyl. In August, Congressman Mark Alford asked me to do a fentanyl forum with him. So I reached out to law enforcement, to several different arms of law enforcement, to get information. And it was astonishing, the information that I found out. There's 150 people that die every single day from fentanyl poisoning. Imagine that there's a small plane that crashed every single day. That's kind of, that's the same, if you can look at that the same way. Fentanyl poisoning is a huge crisis. Originally it was coming over from China. Now a lot of it goes through Mexico and comes through the cartels. It's coming in powder or liquid. I have put 2 bills through research, but neither one of them are really what I'm looking for because I vetted them. I went to several different arms of law enforcement and they came back and said there's unintended consequences. So I'm still working on it. But when I met some of the people that have lost sons, daughters, and friends, they want stricter gun laws. Or stricter laws, I'm sorry. But stricter laws, for murder. Because you are murdering people if you are distributing this. Sooner or later, someone's going to die.
But Mark Alford to the ground running, hadn't he? I like that one.
Yeah.
Jim, with a minute left, who won the week?
I would say HRCC. We have a new director, Hannah, and she's going to do a great job, and I think we're really looking forward to a great election season.
What do you think?
Any governor candidate that's not Ashcroft, because that interview was rough.
It was a rough thing to watch. I mean, who won the week?
Brenda Shields for the
she
child
wins
care.
every week. I mean, you can really come with the reason Brenda wins every week.
But Representative Brenda Shields, her child care tax credit bill, it hits home with me. I was a single parent for 11 years. So it's very important that you have proper child care so you can do a job.
Jamie Murphy, I read this weekend where you're running for state senate, right?
Pretty exciting. I'm going to make that announcement Friday morning when I get back in the district. I'm excited about it. I feel like I have a pathway to victory. I've accomplished quite a few things in the House and created quite a few relationships, and I hope to take that over to the Senate and continue.
Tom, we had a tough senator from the boot hill. I like it.
I do too. I met with Senator Bean this morning. We had some good discussions and moving that way.
I'm going to say Blaine Luetkemeyer, a statesman, one of Missouri's fine congressmen, put in a heck of a career public service in this state, leaves with his head held high. I hope you'll join us next week. Talk a little more politics here on This Week in Missouri Politics.
This Week in Missouri Politics is sponsored by the Missouri Automobile Dealers Association, Ameren, Spire, and the United Electric Cooperative.
Reach your audience with Outreach Studios. Studio 17 offers 1,000 square feet of customizable space that can accommodate roundtable discussions, podcasts, live stream content, and much more. For a different look, we offer View 17. This one-of-a-kind event center is fully wired for broadcast and is perfect for corporate or commercial content. With Outreach Studios, the opportunities are endless. Elevate your message, your brand, and your expectations with Outreach Studios.